What is going on, Locks Mob, and welcome back to the Locks DFS NHL Breakdown. I am your host, Narang, and I'll be breaking down this 4-game main slate that we have on tap for DraftKings. I'll be going over some of my favorite prize picks, over-unders as well. Before I get into all of that, if you guys want to follow me on Twitter, you can do so right here at ReallyAddy. It's where I talk about all things, hockey, basketball, sports bets, prize picks. Anything you're interested in, this is where I'm at. So go ahead and follow me right here. We're coming off a really good night last night. Hockey smashed on FanDuel. Massive night, like 173 cast in tournaments. DraftKings did really well. A lot of members were succeeding off of the cheat sheet, off of the video plays, etc. And then our prize picks went 3 or 4 yesterday, which is so cool because it was our first night over there. Brent Burns over 3.5 points. That hit easy. Kucherov over 4.5 points. That hit fairly easy. And then Taylor like DeMar DeRozan over 43.8, I believe, 43.4. And that hit really easy as well. So all around a great night on prize picks. If you guys don't know, by the way, if this is your first time watching this video, we just got sponsored by Prize Picks. You can go ahead and click that first link in our bio. If you want to deposit over there, they will match your entry with 100% deposit match, and all you got to do is roll that over one time, and then you can go ahead and keep playing there. They also hook you up with a free 2-pick entry to win $50. I know a ton of members cast in on that. We were getting a bunch of screenshots about people that paired Kucherov with DeRozan and just won a quick $50. So I'll get into who I like on some prize picks later today. Oh, and in addition, if you do sign up for that, you get access to our prize picks on the site. If you go to locksdfs.com, you'll see we have a tab that says prize picks, so you get access to that if you deposit and send us proof that you deposited using our promo code LOCKS or the link in the bio. As long as you show us that, DM it to us on Twitter, we'll give you access to that, no problem. So let's get into the slate. It's a 4-game slate. I'm not going to talk about each game, just a few of the favorite players I like at each position. Obviously, as you can see by what I have pulled up right now, it looks like it's going to be a fairly condensed slate in the sense that we have Winnipeg projected for 3.9 goals, Calgary projected for 4 goals, that rose from 3.9, and then we have a fairly high-scoring game as a nightcap between Pittsburgh and Anaheim. But yeah, let's get into it in relation to some DraftKings pricing. So off the bat, like I talked about, Calgary's projected for 4 goals. Calgary at home Calgary in general over the past 10 to 12 days has been absolute money. They've been taking part in shootouts all around. And you could make an argument that this Calgary 1 line has been the best line in hockey so far this season. Johnny Gaudreau is sitting at a whopping, 66 points in 45 games, which is just straight absurd. 5.5. He averages 5.5 DK fantasy points per game at home. Better than his 5 on the road, for sure. So I think I'm just long way to say I want to be overexposed to Calgary 1. That starts with Sean Monahan. For me, is the highest priced center on the slate. Think he's going to be my top option. But I think if we're looking in this mid-price range, I really do like Ryan Getzlaf and the value he offers as well. I talked about how I like Anaheim to be a good team to start this second half of the season. And I think this first line is going to sort of be where that production comes from. That's Getzlaf, Ricky Rax, Rickard Rakell, and Daniel Sprong. So I think I want exposure to all 3 of those guys. I know they're both they're all 3 fairly cheap. Sprong especially, obviously, since he's on the second-team power play. But all 3 of those guys are low-cost, are values that I feel that you could, even though they're mid-priced, they're still underpriced as far as what they should be. Moving on to winger, again, Calgary 1. I think it begins and ends with Johnny Gaudreau. You almost have to have him on this slate and find that 8K. If you don't have him, then you have to have Elias Lindholm. You just have to have exposure to Calgary 1 right now, especially on a 4-game slate. They score a couple goals. They're going to be 40 to 50% owned in cash. So just make sure you got exposure to those guys. A guy that's fairly cheap right here is Patrick Laine at 6.4K. Like I mentioned, Winnipeg projected for 3.9 goals. Patrick Laine leads them in iCourse 4 per 60. Their highest rate shooter, their best pure offensive weapon, sort of Ovechkin-esque. And I think just getting him at 6.4 is an extremely good value versus a Detroit team that is They've been shoring it up a little bit recently, but they're still bottom 10 in the league in expected goals against per 60. So definite exposure to there would be good, as well as Kyle Connor at 5.5K. Now that he's skating on that first line with the injury to Nikolaj Ehlers. And speaking of that injury to Nikolaj Ehlers, it'll be sort of the last thing I talk about in regards to winger. But Jack Roslovich is 2.7K. He's skating on the second line for Winnipeg in addition to the second team power play. So that alone is incredible value. But just getting a guy that's exposed to Patrick Laine and Brian Little, Brian Little's whatever, but getting a guy that's exposed to Patrick Laine and that's still getting power play 2 time is something that we're really interested in at 2.7K. It could open up a lot for you if you plug him in. You can get Calgary 1 in fairly comfortable with some of the high-priced defensemen. Just one more note on wingers. As far as Calgary goes, if we jump over here to Prize Picks, we see Johnny Gaudreau's total fantasy point projections at 4.5. I think I'm smashing the over on that. I really, really like this. We talked about Calgary's projected for 4 goals. Calgary 1 has been absolutely unstoppable. Gaudreau's averaging 5.5 fantasy points per game at home. So that instantly blows away this projection. So I like Gaudreau at 5, taking the over at 4.5, and I would probably bet that all the way up to over 5. So even 5.5, I think isn't the worst, but definitely over 5. So really like that over here at Prize Picks. Anyways, let's move on to defense. So defense, again, for me, begins and ends with Calgary, and that is Mark Giordano at 6.4K. By far my highest option, my favorite high price option on this slate. That's kind of devoid of high price options, but between him, Letang, Morrissey, Rasmus Ristolainen, etc., Giordano's the guy I want exposure to. Obviously power play quarterback on the team that I think will score the most goals. I believe Florida's on a back-to-back as well, so, or are they? Maybe it's 2 and 3. 110. Yeah, they are on a back-to-back. They played at Edmonton yesterday. I remember that. That was that shootout with McDavid. With that being said, if we scroll down a little bit farther in defense, there is value on, where is it? Oh, right here. Brandon Montour at 4.3K. Brandon Montour skated a bit with the first team power play last game, which was a little bit surprising not to see Cam Fowler out there. Cam Fowler is projected to be on that power play. So I don't think we're going to see Montour stay in that role, although he probably is best suited for that role. I think I'd prefer to have him there over Cam Fowler, just because Montour is more of a dynamic offensive weapon. Cam Fowler is a great offensive weapon, but he's also I don't think he's got the shot that Montour has. So I don't know, but Montour, if he is going to get that power play one time, it's just something to keep an eye on. That if for whatever reason lines change by the time Locke comes out and he is on that power play 1 role, that's definitely a guy I'd want some exposure to. So with that all being said, guys, thank you so much for checking out this video. As always, we are running that giveaway that we always do run. Go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and you'll be entered to win a free season pass of your choice. NBA, NHL, NFL. I'll even throw in sports bets if you're interested. So go ahead and do that. And as always, guys, please do check out Prize Picks. Awesome new website that we're really enjoying playing on, and our members have had an awesome time playing on it so far. So go ahead and check them out as well. But with that being said, I hope you guys win some money tonight, and I will see you tomorrow. Peace.